All right, you introduced yourself to your golden prospect. That's good. Now we got to get him or her into a private conversation. And that's not that hard to do, at least if you follow the instructions I'm about to give you. So let's just jump right in. All right, first of all, you want to start a private conversation. Why do you want to have a private conversation? Well, you want to build a relationship up with your golden prospect. And most of what you need to ask him or her is going to have to be done in private. You're not going to want to try. You're not going to want to ask for links publicly. Trust me. So, in order to have a relationship with your golden prospect, you're going to have an avenue that where you can speak to them privately, away from other eyes. And this is, and follow what I teach in this video, and you'll have no problem doing that. And this isn't the easiest process to follow or to teach, at least, because it's a tricky situation, because a lot of this system that I'm sharing with you just comes from experience, from stepping on landmines. And I don't really want to explain all the landmines along the way. Why did we come up with this system? It's just a system we came up with that works. So lean on my experience. And the safest place to walk in a minefield is following the footsteps of the person in front of you. I've stepped on a lot of landmines, and I've blown opportunities with golden prospects just being dumb. And you can learn from that, because I'm not ashamed to share my dumb mistakes. I'm just not. All right, so we're going to open up a line of communication with them that's private. What are some of the options? You could do it on Twitter if they're following you back. You can easily do a direct message to them. LinkedIn, email if you can find their LinkedIn, or you can send them an email, or go to their Facebook page and send them a message right from their Facebook page. But at this point, you don't have a relationship built up with your golden prospect. I suggest you just not use the phone at this point. It's just not going to be conducive. It's going to be a lot harder for you to build a relationship, because what I'm going to show you here is a good process that will help you pass your golden prospects filter. Because many of the link requests and relationship requests that they get, they ignore. Not because they're bad people, they're busy and they get a lot of them. So what you have to do is pass their sniff test. And it's a sneaky little way, but it's really not being sneaky. It's just being genuine with people, and not having, well, you'll see. Let me keep going. All right. So the whole purpose here of getting this private conversation going is to get an open line of communication, because that communication, obviously, you can't build a relationship up with somebody you're not communicating with. Now, what do you say when you reach out here? And this is crucial. Do you talk about your opportunity? No. Do you talk about your great content? No. What do you say? Well, you don't say anything about yourself. But what you can do is maybe you send them an email and request an interview with them. Maybe you thank them for a particularly good ebook or blog post that helped you out that they authored. Or maybe you could just congratulate them and say, you know what, I've been admiring you from afar for a while, and I consider you just somebody awesome in the industry, and you did it right, and you took the time to do things right. I just wanted to let you know that. So congratulations on a job well done. Even something as simple as that. Or you could even write a blog post and link to their site in some way, and then email them and let them know you linked to them. The whole purpose is to wait until you get a response. And there's one way that will get you a response faster than all the others, and it's not Twitter, it's not LinkedIn, it's not even their email or Facebook. A lot of the times, your golden prospect isn't monitoring their Facebook messages. It's somebody else, a social media expert, guru, or not guru, but assistant. All right. Well, the best way I know to get your prospect's attention at this stage, when you want to make your after you make your introduction, and when you're actually reaching out to say hi to them and actually start the first step towards the relationship, is you want to reply to their newsletter if they have one. If your golden prospect has a newsletter, you should be opted into it. You should be reading every bit of it 2 or 3 times and just let it sink into what they're trying to sell and what they're trying to communicate and what they're about. But for this exercise here, when you want to open that line of communication up, if they have a newsletter and you're opted into it, reply to their newsletter, because that tells them a couple of things. A, that you're a subscriber. B, it also helps the engagement rate on their email list for their newsletter, which is healthy for them, and it helps them. It really does, and I won't get into why and list health, but having engagement on the newsletters is an excellent indicator to like Aweber and MailChimp and Infusionsoft that the list is clean, and the deliverability rates get even better at that point. So it's important that, this engagement helps them a little bit. So if you reply to their newsletter and either request to interview them, say, hey, listen, I'm on your newsletter. I love your newsletter. I have readers that come to my site. They're into this and this. I think you'd be a good fit. I'd love to interview you. And if you land an interview on your introduction, that's awesome. That's just like 2 giant steps forward with into the relationship with your golden prospect. All right, so whatever you thank them for, if they have a newsletter, reply to their newsletter. And let's link builders send an email out and they don't even take the time to see if their prospect has a newsletter. I don't know. It's like the best subject line to get the attention of your prospects is their newsletter subject line. Just bottom line. It will improve your open rates. So do it. All right. So when you get a response back, what you want to do is not reply back right away. Because what will happen is what I'm going to teach you in a bit is you're going to have to reach out to them again. And you don't want to have a needless reach. You don't want to have a needless communication here because it could trigger their filter. Let me tell you what I mean. Why delay your response when they reply back to one of these? Well, it's simple. You don't want to wear your welcome out. They might think you're pardon me. Oh, they might think you're a flake. You'll go from a welcome guest to an unwelcome pest in about 2 seconds if you reply back. So they'd get the one message up here requesting to interview them or thanking them, and they say, yeah, I'll, well, you're welcome, or congratulations, and all that. I guess if they reply back with the interview, they usually reject it. And, on the first chance, they don't know who you are. They'll probably reject your interview, saying they're too busy, or that, their schedule doesn't permit it. But you're not really trying to land an interview here. You're not trying to do that. What you're trying to do is just get them to respond, because something good will happen. So let me preface this. If they say, when do you want to do the interview? What you do is you will have to reply back and just schedule and do the interview. But if they reject it, your interview request, or if they just they send you a welcome letter or whatever, but whatever reply you get back, just wait a little bit. And that response is going to is important because it delays it a little bit. In your prospect's mind, they're thinking that the transaction is over, so they go on with their day, and you're not going to want to wear your welcome out because, sending them multiple messages right in a row, and first of all, you might be tempted to talk about yourself a little too early, so that's bad. So let's eliminate that whole needless response back, because you might say something that will blow this whole thing. You'll respond back to them, but you have to do a couple things first. So maybe a couple, 3 days, 4 days, maybe even a week. You wait a week, but don't delete that reply from them. Just keep it, because you're going to reply back to that in a bit. All right, so don't wear your welcome out. Now, remember those needs you found for your golden prospect? This is the time to do it. But you don't do it before the golden prospect responds, because you could send out 50 of these, and guess what? Are all 50 going to reply back? Nope. You might get 10. You might get 7. Well, depending on the type of year, time of the year it is, it could be 4. Or the type of year, if people are really busy and they're scrambling to make cash if you're in an industry like that, they may just be busy and just making money, and they're not going to have time to reply back. But what happens is you don't start doing the good deeds. I'm calling them good deeds. You found needs that they had. You don't start doing and performing those until you have a response back. And that was a huge landmine. It was a claymore mine that just blew me into the stratosphere. We did that for clients. We started doing good works for the prospects before we had responses with all of them. In fact, we did every single person on the list, and there was like 100 prospects. So we spent probably $3,000 worth of man hours reaching out to prospects, and only had a handful of them get back with us. And I was like, wow, why didn't we just send them some type of message just so those 5 would have responded back, and then we would have saved a lot of time and had the same results. So that's why I say I may not be the most elegant of teachers, but I do have battle scars. And it's amazing what you learn when you stay at a job and just refuse to quit. Well, I'm unemployable anywhere else. I mean, I get offered jobs all the time to become take over a company's link building and do it in-house, and they want me to come in. I'd get fired in a week. You don't want me there. I've worked for myself for the last 21 years because I like it. And so listen, it's perform your good deeds after you had a response back from one of these 4 things. Otherwise, they may just never respond to you. And you only have so much time. You only have 24 hours in the day, and you only have 8 hours you're working, 10 hours, for however long you work. You only have so much time. So spend it on the people when you're helping your prospects. Spend it on the people who just replied back to you. Then you go do your good deeds, and this is so simple to do. Just go do the good deeds, whatever they are. Then you go back and respond to their reply. And that's powerful, because now they'll recognize who you are from your earlier email. In fact, they'll even see their response from the last time you emailed them. And also, they'll definitely get your email, because now there's a line of communication between their inbox and your inbox, and that tells the spam filters in both inboxes that, hey, these accounts are going to communicate with one another, and it's not spam. So now they're going to see it, and it's going to come across as an RE. So, well, it did before, but it's going to get their attention again. So it's a great way to get in touch with your prospect that doesn't trigger their filter. And also, and I don't want to say more important, but just as important, it saves you from having to do a bunch of work for people who are never going to respond to you. So you can only build relationships with the people who respond. It's just building a relationship takes 2 people. So find out who's ready to have a relationship, or at least can reply, so you can you at least have an opportunity to build a relationship up with them. And then what happens is you do your good deeds, and you reply back with the good news of your good deeds, and you don't make a big deal of it. So what do you say in that conversation? Well, that's a very important conversation, because again, you don't want to trip any filters in your prospect. So, but you're going to have to wait to the next video for that, because that the entire video is going to be about how to put together a well-crafted first contact script, and that's in module 4.7. So if you're at all curious